morning. Here is the news at 10. First, the highlights. Lagos government calls for youth reconnection to cultural roots to promote awareness, tackle moral decadence. International Monetary Fund points to high poverty, hunger in Nigeria despite reforms. On the foreign scene, Iran expresses doubt about United States intentions ahead second round of nuclear talks in Washington. And in Sports, Confederation of African Football fines Mamelodi Sundowns Football Club $1,000 for breaching safety security rules. And now the details. I am Mike James. The Lagos State Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture has underscored the importance of young people connecting with their cultural roots, noting that understanding one's heritage provides a strong sense of purpose and direction. The Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Olanrewaju Bajulai, while speaking on behalf of the Commissioner as the Ministry hosted the Lagos Youth Ambassadors representing the 5 administrative divisions of the state, noted that many youth-targeted initiatives closely align with the goals of the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture. Bajulai highlighted the Ministry's critical role in shaping the future of Lagos youth through the promotion of tourism, cultural preservation and the creative industries. He expressed concern over rising societal ills such as moral decay, substance abuse and the erosion of community values, urging the youth ambassadors to become champions of cultural values and agents of positive change. The Permanent Secretary emphasized the value of education and expressed satisfaction that the youth ambassadors have chosen to pursue academic and civic paths. Lagos State Muslim Pilgrims Welfare Board has commenced the vaccination of its intending pilgrims against polio, meningitis and yellow fever ahead of the 2025 Hajj exercise in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The vaccination, which started on Wednesday, April 16, at the Shamsi Adisa Thomas Mosque Hall, GRA Ikeja, has intending pilgrims from Agege, Amuwodofi, Badagry and Mushi local government areas being attended to. The board secretary, Abdul Hakim Adjo Magberi, said the vaccination exercise is in fulfillment of the requirement for international travel, urging the intending pilgrims to make themselves available on the date appointed for their various local governments. He added that officials of the Port Health Service under the Federal Ministry of Health would provide them with a yellow card after the vaccination. In a bid to foster lasting peace and unity across Ibeju-Lekki and its adjoining communities, the Lagos State government convened a high-level stakeholders meeting with traditional rulers from the area. The crucial dialogue held at the Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy Affairs and Rural Development Conference Room in Alausa, Ikeja, was chaired by the Commissioner, Bolaji Robert, alongside the Ministry's Permanent Secretary, Kikelowo Bolarinwa. The meeting was convened in response to multiple petitions and growing tensions in the Ibeju-Lekki axis, especially surrounding the installation of barriers and boundary disputes. The Commissioner emphasized that the administration of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu will not tolerate any threat to peace or violations of established laws governing chieftaincy affairs in the state. Robert stressed that the process of installing barriers in communities must support, not undermine, the governance structure of the state. Consequently, the Commissioner directed that any individual parading themselves as Bale without proper recognition from the rightful traditional authorities, especially when installed outside the jurisdiction of reigning Oba, must cease such actions immediately. The Commissioner assured the royal fathers that the ministry is already working on a comprehensive report which will inform appropriate next steps to restore order and trust in the chieftaincy processes across the area. And now to the rest of the stories. The Confederation of African Football (CAF) has fined Mamelodi Sundowns Football Club $100,000 after violent fan clashes at an African Champions League game between two teams that are going to the FIFA Club World Cup in the United States this summer. CAF said in a disciplinary ruling that Mamelodi Sundowns, owned by its president, Patrice Motsepe, breached safety and security rules, hosting an April 1 game against Esperance of Tunisia. The African football body said Sundowns is required to strictly implement the safety and security measures specified in the CAF regulations, guidelines and directives, particularly in their upcoming matches. President Bola Tinubu has reassured Nigerians of his administration's resolve to restore peace and security, emphasizing that clear directives had been issued to the armed forces and relevant security agencies to end insecurity decisively and without delay. Tinubu, who stated this in his Easter message to the nation, expressed empathy with citizens affected by violence and unrest, stating that he understood the pain and fear such events had caused. The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, said 52 people were confirmed dead, while 22 others were taken to the hospital. The president said he was saddened by the recent loss of lives in some parts of our country, maintaining that his administration's resolve to restore peace and security remained unshakable. He acknowledged the economic hardships faced by many Nigerians, promising that his administration is working tirelessly to restore investor confidence, stabilize key sectors and build an inclusive economy that serves the interests of all Nigerians. The president urged Nigerians to remain hopeful and united as the nation celebrates Easter, drawing the parallel between the resurrection of Jesus Christ and Nigeria's journey towards peace and prosperity. Meanwhile, the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetoku, has ordered tight security measures across the country to ensure a peaceful and heat-free holiday. The head of operations, Port Harcourt Zonal Office of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, Eric Egodage, has said that 15 local government areas in Rivers State are likely to be flooded this year. Egodage made this known at a quarterly briefing with journalists against disaster, JAD, in Port Harcourt, the Rivers State capital. He stated that following the prediction, serious meetings have been going on between the agency and other critical stakeholders of government to fashion out ways to reduce the impact and possibly forestall human and material losses. Ehodagi said NEMA, board and management have started interfacing with the leadership of governments from the federal to state and local government levels. The Nigerian Meteorological Institute, NIMET, had earlier predicted that at least 30 of the 36 states of Nigeria, including Rivers and Bayelsa, are on high-risk curve of flooding area this year. And on front, a trial of nearly 200 people arrested in protest against the Turkish government has opened in Istanbul. Mass demonstrations began on 19 March after Istanbul's mayor, Ekrem İmamoğlu, a key rival of Recep Tayyip Erdogan, was detained on corruption charges which he denies. Most of the 189 defendants in the trial at the Kaglayan courthouse are students, while 8 are journalists. Charges against them include taking part in illegal protest, following a crackdown on public gatherings, and failing to disperse despite warnings. According to Human Rights Watch, penalties for the charges range from 6 months to 5 years imprisonment. Lawyer Wiesel Ok asked the judge to acquit them on the grounds that they were reporting on not participating in the protest. İmamoğlu was due to run for the presidency in 2028 elections. His supporters see his arrest as a political move by Erdogan. And in sports news, Nigeria's under-17 women's national team coach Bankole Oluokere says the team is targeting a convincing victory over Algeria in the first leg of their final FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup qualifying match, which will be played at the Remo Stars Stadium in Ikene. Coach Oluokere has urged the Flamingos to maintain focus and intensify and go all out to dominate the North Africans. The Flamingos are Africa's most successful side at Under-17 level, having qualified for 7 of the 8 Under-17 Women's World Cup tournaments since 2008. Oluokere led the team to a bronze medal finish in 2022 in India, the country's and Africa's best finish at the tournament. And the coach hopes to recreate history with another set of players, which include goal machine Harmony Chidi, Shakirat Mashoud, and Aishat Animashal. The return leg is set for April 25 at the Stade Mustafa Takar in Blida, with the aggregate winner booking a ticket to Morocco in 2025. That was our news at 10. Just before we go, maintain adequate distance from the vehicle ahead of you to avoid collision. You can follow us and like all our various social media platforms. X, Traffic Radio 961. Facebook, Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. On Instagram, Lagos Traffic Radio 961. Subscribe and watch our news and programs. It's live on YouTube, Traffic Radio 961. You can also visit www.trafficradio961.ng. Did you know that the Somolu administration constructed watchtowers with alarm bells and perimeter fences in model colleges? Well, you can get more details on the Legacy Gabon website. To end the news, here are the highlights of the major stories. The Lagos State Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture, has underscored the importance of young people reconnecting with their cultural roots, noting that understanding one's heritage provides a strong sense of purpose and direction. President Bola Tinubu has reassured Nigerians of his administration's resolve to restore peace and security, emphasizing that clear directives had been issued to the armed forces and relevant security agencies to end insecurity decisively and without delay. We also told you that a trial of nearly 200 people arrested in protest against the Turkish government has opened in Istanbul. And in sports, Nigeria's Under-17 women's national team coach, Bankole Oluokere, says the team is targeting a convincing victory over Algeria in the first leg of their final FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup qualifying match, which will be played at the Remo Star Stadium in Ikene. And for contact with the newsroom, send a message to info@trafficradio961.ng. That ends the news broadcast compiled by Kayode Mafalashiri. Thank you, Lagos, for listening. My name is Mike James. Good morning.